All right, so this is going to be kind of my analysis of the lesson as well as my reflection of my lesson. So I thought overall, um, the three students their performance on this lesson, it was pretty good for the most part. I think some of them struggled when it came to uh, retelling the story in sequence using words or pictures on the actual independent activity. I also think it was a struggle for some of them when we did do the oral retelling of the story events because it was their first time doing this. So, this is the work from three of my struggling students that I had done my running record in earlier in this class. This is Corin's activity. I did give the option to either draw or write or both. He chose to do some writing and some drawing. He did a fairly nice job, I would say. He wrote in complete sentences. I can tell that he understood the beginning, middle, and end of the story um, with good detail, pretty good detail. Logan chose to uh, include pictures and label her photos, which was another option I chose to use as a differentiation. So she included the character's name, she included a picture of a bus, and I labeled the bus, and then a picture of the pot from the soup kitchen. This was a pretty good. And then my third student, she is my student that struggles the most. She chose to only include pictures. So you can clearly tell that she understood the parts of the story um, and what happened in sequence, but she struggles to read and write independently. So that's why she had the option to just use pictures. So this is then another fourth student who chose mostly to write in words, and she is one of my stronger out of the kids that I did the running record with. So for my reflection on what I'll do in the future, I think that, or what I did, my strengths and weaknesses from the activity, I think that one of my strengths, I thought that I had good questioning when I was stopping during the story to ask like questions of what's happening, what is happening in the events of the story, who the characters were. I thought we had some good discussion about some of the vocabulary terms that were important to the story, like soup kitchen, relationship, which is the overarching theme of my unit plan. I also think that I think the activity where the students were putting the pictures of the story into the correct sequence, I thought that was a good activity and they did very well with that. I think though once I some struggles or weaknesses were once the kids started to break apart into their think pair share with it wasn't a think pair share, but it was a partner activity where they were retelling the story using the retelling hand. I think I didn't provide enough scaffolding for them, and I think it was hard for me to monitor and help the students who needed the support when they were just orally doing that with a partner. It was hard for me to get to every group and help out. So I don't think I would have, if I did this again, jumped right into having them do that activity just with a partner. I think they need some more scaffolding before they get there, and some more support. I do think the independent activity went fairly well. Me offering the different options on just drawing and writing, just labeling their photos. I think that was a good differentiation for the kids. I could maybe also wait to do such an advanced activity like this and maybe instead have them uh, be given the pictures from the story independently and then having to place the pictures in the correct order. And then I can further challenge the few that would like to go the extra mile to turn their paper over and maybe try to sequence it in writing, but I think this is a pretty advanced step to do it in writing. So that's some things I would change. Some ways that I was able to meet all of the needs were being able to differentiate this activity. Being there, I walked around the room to support especially my struggling readers during the oral retelling of events. I think all of my students were struggling during that part. And I also pulled a small group during this independent activity to work with those kids to make sure we worked on it together. So that was some ways that I met the needs of all of my students. And what you could do in the future to ensure that all students are progressing. So I think just in the future, I would make sure to do some more scaffolding before I send them off to do something so independently or with a partner. Uh, and yeah, I think that's kind of what I would do in the future. I think otherwise, though, I would also maybe focus more on the vocabulary that's key to the story before reading the story. That might be something else that I might change. Kind of discuss the important terms, vocabulary terms before reading. But yeah, otherwise, that was it. I enjoyed doing this.